Hello everyone, welcome back to our enchanted corner of the internet, where tales come alive and imaginations run wild. I'm Alauddin, or Aladdin, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today for another captivating adventure filled with wonderful narratives. On this channel, I read stories for your listening pleasure, whether you're curled up cozily by a fire, commuting through bustling city streets, or simply seeking a moment of respite, you've come to the right place. Our stories today are about two plants in wildly different circumstances. Despite one being in a forest and the other being in a pot, they're both very familiar with captivity. I'd like to gently remind you to poke that like button before we embark on our journey. Now sit back and relax. Welcome to Storytime with Aladdin. The Eavesdropping Fern. In the bustling heart of the city, nestled among the honking cars and hurried pedestrians, stood a cozy little coffee shop called the Green Bean. Inside, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the rich scent of earth and plant life. It was here, amidst the vibrant ambience, that the unassuming plant sat quietly in the corner, observing the world go by. The plant, a potted fern named Fernley, had found herself in a peculiar position. Placed in a corner, she had a perfect vantage point to witness the comings and goings of the patrons, as well as overhear their conversations. This newfound ability to eavesdrop on the lives of others opened a whole new world for Fernley, an insight into the human condition. As the door swung open, a wave of chatter and laughter filled the coffee shop. The first group to catch Fernley's attention was a trio of friends: a tall, bespectacled man with a serious expression, a jovial woman with a contagious smile, and a shy, introverted man who seemed to hang on their every word. They chatted animatedly about their work, sharing stories of triumphs and challenges. "The deadline for that project is fast approaching," said the man with the glasses, his voice tinged with determination, "but I'm confident we can deliver something remarkable." The woman chuckled, her laughter filling the air like music. "You always underestimate yourself, Charles. I have no doubt we'll ace this. And hey, if we do, we should celebrate with a trip." The shy man nodded, his eyes brightening with excitement. "A trip sounds incredible. I've always wanted to experience new places and experience different cultures." Fernley couldn't help but notice the mix of determination, passion, and a hint of longing in their voices. It reminded the plant of her own desire to grow and reach for the sunlight, perhaps someday outgrowing her pot and moving to a bigger one. Or maybe to a garden. A fern can dream. A young couple soon caught Fernley's attention as they settled into a cozy corner booth. Their conversation was tender and intimate, filled with whispered promises and dreams for the future. The woman expressed her dreams of traveling the world, while the man spoke passionately about his desire to make a difference in the lives of others. "I want to see the world," the woman murmured, her voice carrying a sense of wanderlust. "I want to taste exotic foods, see breathtaking landscapes, and meet people from different walks of life. It's as if the world is calling me and I can't ignore it." The man smiled, his eyes filled with admiration. "And I want to make a difference, Sandra. I want to create something that positively impacts the lives of others, something that leaves a lasting legacy. Together, we can make our dreams a reality." Fernley admired their love and ambition, sensing a connection between their dreams and her own quest for nourishment and growth. She yearned for such a partnership, but she doubted that the barista would ever feel that passionately about her. Perhaps she'll be joined by another potted fern someday. Again, a fern can dream. As the day wore on, the coffee shop grew busier, and Fernley found herself privy to an array of conversations. Some were filled with excitement and enthusiasm, while others carried the weight of sadness and disappointment. A group of students discussed their academic struggles, their hopes for the future, and their fears of it. "I'm exhausted," a young woman sighed, her voice tinged with fatigue. "The workload is relentless, and I feel like I'm drowning in assignments, but I can't give up. I have to keep pushing through." Her friend nodded empathetically. "I know it's tough, but remember why you started this journey? You have a passion for astronomy, and this temporary struggle will be worth it in the end. Soon enough, you'll find yourself on the International Space Station, I know it. Just hang in there." Fernley listened intently, understanding the perseverance and reliance reflected in their words. She recognized the challenges she faced as she stretched her delicate roots in search of nourishment and stability. She may have not yearned for the stars, but she knew what it was like to yearn for exploration. In another corner of the shop, a middle-aged woman spoke excitedly about her love for literature and the impact it had on her life. "Books have always been my sanctuary," she confided to her friend. "They transport me to different worlds, introduce me to fascinating characters, and teach me valuable life lessons. I don't know where I'd be without them." Her friend smiled, appreciating the passion in her voice. "That's the beauty of literature, Martha. It has the power to ignite our imagination, broaden our horizons, and provide solace when life gets overwhelming. Keep devouring those books and let them continue to inspire you." Elsewhere, an elderly couple reminisced about their years together, their voices filled with warmth and wisdom. "Do you remember our first date?" the woman asked, a nostalgic smile decorating her lips. The man chuckled fondly. "Of course I do, Mary. We went for a walk in the forest and it started raining. We took shelter under that big oak tree and shared our first kiss. It was nothing short of magical." Mary sighed contentedly. "Those were simpler times, weren't they? But I wouldn't trade our journey for anything. We've weathered countless storms together, and our love has only grown stronger. I love you, Mark." Fernley couldn't help but marvel at the depth of their connection, the endurance of their love. She wondered if she could have had such a connection had she been placed somewhere else or permitted to take root in the wild. She often thought about what it would be like to grow up in nature, without a caretaker or protection from the elements. Is the grass really greener out there? And if that's true, does that mean that she'd have to compete with the grass for moisture and nutrients? Fernley was amused by her own wordplay. She may have not developed a sense of humor had she not picked it up from the patrons of the shop. She realized that she gets a unique opportunity to live vicariously through the humans who come her way. Rather than feeling sorry for herself and her captivity, she chose to focus on the perks she gets to enjoy. She felt grateful for the loving staff who always watered and pruned her, and fed her a steady supply of coffee grounds and compostable material, not to mention the steady supply of entertainment from eavesdropping on the shop's customers. Fernley realized she was the type of plant to see the pot half full. And so she sat contentedly in the shop, absorbing the stories, dreams, and emotions of those who frequented the place. She knew that, although she could not speak to the humans, her presence brought a sense of calm and solace to those who passed by, and as she bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun, Fernley found comfort in the symphony of human connection, the symphony of dreams, aspirations, challenges, and emotion. "I may be silent," Fernley mused to herself, "but I am an observer, a silent witness to the beauty and complexity of life. Through these conversations, I gain a deeper understanding of the human spirit, its resilience, and its capacity for growth. And just like the humans who come and go, I too strive to grow, to reach for the sunlight and flourish in my own unique way. This coffee shop, this space of shared experiences, has become my sanctuary and my connection to the world. The way I see it, this coffee shop is my window to the universe." Soul Survivor. Deep within the heart of the sprawling forest, a majestic oak tree stood tall and proud. For centuries, he had been a silent witness to the ebb and flow of life around him. His sturdy branches reached out like ancient arms, providing shelter and solace to countless creatures, while his leaves rustled in the breeze, singing the eternal song of nature. But one fateful day, the tranquil existence of the oak tree was shattered by the sound of machinery invading its peaceful domain. Men with axes and chainsaws arrived, their cold, determined eyes fixated on the towering trees that had called this place home for centuries. The oak tree trembled, anticipating his impending destruction. Fear coursed through his roots, causing his gnarled back to quiver. Each swing of the axe felt like a painful blow as the oak tree watched its companions fall, their once vibrant leaves now lifeless on the forest floor. He could feel the life force of the forest wane with each fallen tree, and a deep sorrow settled within his ancient heart. Amidst the chaos, the oak tree yearned to escape, to uproot itself and flee to a safer haven, but his roots ran deep, anchoring him to the earth, trapping him in a destiny he could not control. He had no choice but to stand and face uncertain future. Days turned into weeks, and the oak tree's anxiety grew with each passing moment. He wondered when his time would come, if he would meet the same fate as his fallen brethren. The once vibrant symphony of life slowly faded away, replaced by the harsh cacophony of destruction. The oak tree, unable to escape his rooted existence, watched as the forest was torn down, leaving behind only a barren wasteland. Loneliness enveloped the oak tree like a heavy fog. His branches stretched out, yearning for the gentle touch of a passing bird, or for the soothing buzzing of insects in the folds of his wood. But the air was devoid of life, and the silence weighed heavily upon his ancient soul. Then, as the final tree toppled to the ground, the men paused in their destructive path. Their eyes fell upon the oak tree that stood alone amidst the devastation. They marveled at his grandeur, struck by his resilience and magnificence. They whispered among themselves, their voices barely audible above the silence of the wounded forest. "We cannot cut this one down," said a man, his voice filled with reverence. "It must be preserved. It will be a living testament to what once was." And so the oak tree was spared from the merciless blades. The forest around him was replaced with empty plots of land in preparation for building a shopping mall. But as the months went by and construction was delayed for various reasons, people began to notice the consequences of this deforestation. It took thousands of people being affected by the damaged ecosystem to notice how interconnected and delicate the world really is. At first, residents of nearby towns petitioned to keep the oak tree alive, causing the government to comply and protect the tree from destruction. It was too late to save the forest, but the least they could do was save a living example of its previous residents. And though they didn't realize it at the time, that decision monumentally changed the destiny of the entire forest. Eventually, the tree became the centerpiece of a living museum, an ode to a vanishing wilderness, a reminder of what once was and what could be once again. Slowly but surely, the forest was replanted around the tree, with young saplings taking root where their elders once stood. With a little help from humans to get it started, nature began its slow healing process. And as the decades passed, the oak tree watched life return to the forest. He saw the saplings grow into mighty oaks, birds nesting in their branches and animals seeking refuge in their shade. The wounds of the forest were slowly mending, and a new harmony emerged. The oak tree found comfort in the rejuvenation of the forest, but his own emotions remained conflicted. He felt a profound sense of loss for his fallen companions, the void left by their absence lingering in his ancient heart. He mourned the loss of the once vibrant ecosystem that had thrived around him, knowing that it may never be the same again. He felt ambivalent about human beings. They were the destructive force, but they also attempted restoration. Were they an enemy or a friend? Could they be trusted to learn from their mistakes, or were they utterly hopeless? Yet, as visitors flocked to the living museum, awestruck by the towering oak tree, a spark of hope ignited within his being. People of all ages would gaze up at his branches, their eyes filled with wonder and respect. The tree, though unable to speak, sensed their admiration and gratitude. He realized that his survival, while bittersweet, had a profound purpose. He symbolized the strength and resilience of nature, a testament to the indomitable spirit of life. He was a living reminder of the interconnectedness of all things and the delicate balance that sustains our world. He embodied a cause that unified Earth and all of its inhabitants. In the stillness of his existence, the oak tree's thoughts whispered through the ages, a silent reminder that even in the face of destruction, beauty and hope could endure. He embraced his role as a living witness, emanating his wisdom to those who cared to listen. He began to see himself not as a victim, but as a guardian, recognizing that his duty extended beyond his own survival, that he had become a beacon of hope for the forest that had once thrived around him, and by extension, a beacon of hope for the entire planet. He inspired those who beheld him to cherish and protect the fragile wonders of nature, to understand the consequences of their actions, and to nurture the world that sustains them. And so the oak tree stood, rooted in both earth and the hearts of those who witnessed him. His inner thoughts resonated within his being, rippling beyond his physical presence to touch the souls of all who approached. Through his steadfast existence, the oak tree whispered of the past, present, and the fragile possibilities of the future. And in that sacred space, the spirit of the forest, though wounded, found shelter and began to heal, one whisper at a time. That concludes our stories for today. Would you like me to upload these videos weekly? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Until next time, take care and be safe.